Hi, this is Gingersnap. I'm Lisa Redfern, and Gingersnap is a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer. And this afternoon I'm here in the home office of Alban, and we're in Portland. And he's going to tell you a lot about the work that he's been doing. Alban is an award-winning filmmaker, a documentarian, and he's going to tell you about some of his work that he's done in the last couple of years. It's very exciting, and also the work that he's done since he's been back in Maine.
Okay, should I say what I've done?
Sure.
Okay, well, I've refocused. You're saying I'm a filmmaker, which is true.
Yes.
That's what I've been doing for 20 and some years now. But I've refocused all my energy, time, and all my savings in the past 4 years to help people that are affected by dementia and Alzheimer's, people that who lose their memory, because my grandmother was affected by it. And I decided to do something about it. So along with award-winning filmmakers, friends of mine, and physicians and geriatric doctors, we constituted what has become the first and only interactive plot-free television for people that are affected.
Plot-free television.
That's
Remember
right.
that.
They're very simple. We help them dream.
Yes.
We make them smile. We help them reconnect with their past with very simple imagery, really high-end imagery. I call them dream scenes. So I've been focusing on this project for 4 years now, and yeah, I invite all you Gingersnap listener to go to memory-lane.tv to see some of the work that we've done, and if you know anyone that it can help, please send them to Memory Lane, and because we're all concerned. You know, 1 out of 3 or 4 of us will be affected by dementia before our life ends. So it's a big important thing.
It is an important thing. And I watched when you were introduced when you were featured at Pechakucha or Pechakucha. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Pechakucha.
Pechakucha. Which highlights a lot of creative people in all kinds of fields in Maine, and they interviewed Alban, and they showed a part of the work that you're doing, and it's beautiful. And I've had the experience as a musician, singing to people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and seeing them kind of open up like flowers, you know, when you sing something that has been that's been meaningful to them. Because isn't it true that it's a different part of the brain that holds music and memory?
Yes, it is, totally. And I'm sure some of you have seen Henry, this clip that went viral, you know, a few years ago, and Live Inside.
He was a jazz musician.
He was a jazz musician, and he wakes up to Cab Calloway songs, and all of a sudden, and this is called a musical illumination. When people reconnect with their past through a piece of memory, and it could be music, it could be olfactory stimulations. Like in Memory Lane, we use aromas and scent in the air to reproduce the scent of coffee or cookies, actually, or all sorts of things, or bread, and music is a big part of it. You're absolutely right. It's very important to use those tools because they're part of who we are, and when we reconnect with our past, we reconnect with visuals and with music and auditory stimuli, listening to birds and looking at clouds, very simple things. Plot-free, no narration, no voiceover, beautiful music. And you've seen that. I mean, how people come alive again, just with the use of very simple multi-sensory stimuli like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for all that work. It's very meaningful, and so definitely check out his work, and we'll remind you at the end of the website. And so now moving on from the sublime to the more mundane, we could say. Why did you come back to Maine? We're so glad you did. What brought you back?
I came back to, actually I came to Maine 25 years ago, and I was brought to Maine by Pamela Moulton, who was on Gingersnap a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago.
This is episode 8, and she, I believe, was on episode 5, I think.
Yeah, and she brought me to the Sweet Cherry Music and Art Festival on Swans Island, which I've been going for 20-some years as well, where I met you,
That's right,
Lisa.
Yes.
And fell in love in Maine ever since, and never came out of it. And now I'm a Mainer, and my last name is Mayno. Yes. So it was only natural that it would end up in Portland, Maine.
Maine, yes.
Maine, yes.
Oh dear. So, Alban, what was your first word? And if you don't know your first word, what do you think it might have been? Knowing you, what do you think it might have been?
I think my first word was probably a French word, and it was probably maman, or mama, because I love my mom.
Yeah. Is your mother living?
She is. Yeah, she's in France, and yes, and I miss her.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
Mama. Mama.
Mama.
Yes.
So, do you have a favorite cookie?
I do. White chocolate chip cookies with almond.
Oh, that sounds really good. Well, I didn't find those for Alban today, but I did go to Rosemont, and I found, look at this. These are oatmeal raisin, and they're fresh today. Now, we're going to take a bite, and we're going to say thank you to Rosemont Bakery. Now, if you don't like...
It's not that I don't like, but, I had my tooth extracted yesterday morning.
Oh, that's right. We were just talking about how we should stay away from sweets.
And I'll just just chew on the right side. This is a good cookie.
It's a good cookie. So thank you, Rosemont. Yum, yum. These are really good.
Yeah.
So, Alban, do you have a favorite book that you have found yourself recommending in the last couple of years?
I have lots of favorite books, but one of my favorite poetry writing, Rumi is one of my favorite all-time poets, but I always like to refer to Khalil Gibran, this Lebanon.
The Prophet?
The Prophet is a good book. Actually, it's been put into a wonderful animation movie that's going to come out very soon.
Really?
It's incredible, incredible music. Maklabayev, so I recommend you all to see it. But yeah, The Prophet. If I had to choose one among thousands, it would be this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good recommendation. All right, moving on to moving vehicles. Did you have a car as a child that if you could have it as an adult, you would get back? A car that you loved?
I do, and I don't know if any of your Gingersnap viewers will remember that, or if it existed in this country. My grandfather used to take us to Italy, and it would take 2 days from France to Italy to go. And he had in the early 70s a Citroën DS. It was called DS, and it was a very floaty, beautifully shaped black. And we would all get sick in the back sitting. There were 4 or 5 of us sitting in the back. Yeah, but this was.
But it was worth it.
It was worth it. 12 hours to go to Italy, and so I'd love to get back into that car again.
What color?
Classic.
What color? Black.
It was black. Citroën DS. Check it out.
Yeah. I like how you said that's a little.
Une DS.
It's more romantic than saying Citron.
Citroën DS.
Which is how we say it.
Ou une R12.
So, if you had to pick an album or a song that you go back to as sort of a touchstone in your life, that that you play at certain times, whether to lift you up or just to bring you joy, or what keeps coming back?
We were talking about memories and how, people say that your musical memory, the one that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life, starts between 12, 13 and until your mid-20s. Those are really the hardcores. I don't know if I believe that or not. Mine goes a little earlier than that.
I was going to say, I would have thought it was earlier.
Yeah, and the one song and the one artist, I grew up in Lagos, in Nigeria, and at the time where Miriam Makeba, I don't know if you know Pata Pata, this song, no, you don't remember? Miriam Makeba?
Keep going.
No, I can't sing. I can't sing. But Miriam Makeba is one of my greatest artists. And and every time I hear that song, Pata Pata is called. Check it out on YouTube.
Okay.
It makes you want to dance and you feel happy, and it's an incredible song.
All right.
Miriam Makeba.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Okay, Alban, this is one of my favorite questions. If a Hollywood movie was made about your life, what genre would it be, and who would you like to have star as you in this movie? That would be a fascinating movie, actually, really, I think.
It would be a comedy. It would be a
comedy?
It would be a French comedy. But probably filmed by the Coen brothers. So you have a really dark side. I don't know if that exists, a comedy by the Coen brothers.
Yes. Oh gosh, I think all of their movies are even if they're dark, they're layered and they're also very funny.
I know. I mean,
interesting. A French Coen brothers comedy. So say to the Coen brothers in French.
Oh yes.
I think you should make a movie about. Say it to them.
Les frères Coen, si vous avez la volonté de faire un film sur la vie d'un réalisateur français avec John Turturro. I love John Turturro. Il est formidable,
He's
John
great.
Turturro.
Yeah.
He would
play you?
He would play my role.
Okay.
He's incredible, John Turturro. This is like a dream. It's like being in a dream.
Joel and Ethan Coen. Are you listening?
I hope they are.
Yeah.
Everyone should.
All right.
A French comedy.
Well, tell everybody the website again to go to learn about your work.
Memory-lane.tv. memorylane.tv. And if you just dial on Google, Memory Lane TV, multisensory Alzheimer's, I'll be the first one to come out.
Okay.
Memory Lane.
Perfect.
Merci.
All right. And I'm Lisa Redfern. If you'd like to know more about me or my music or where I'm singing, you can go to lisaredfern.com. And this has been Gingersnap, a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer. In this case, the cookie came from Rosemont, and my guest has been Alban.
Alban, très bien. Tu dis ça très bien, Lisa.
Alban.
Ouais.
Oh, I have to turn it over. So you have now been ginger-snapped. It's now a verb. So consider yourself ginger-snapped. This has been Ginger-Snap.